Hello Wargames, it's me Callum from TableTopBanter, and today we're going to talk about 3 big steps that Age of Sigmar has made since day 1 to where we are now. Well, what you're looking at right now is obviously just my table, but in a moment we're going to talk about the 3 big steps that Age of Sigmar has made. Now the reason I have put this nice big blank space in front of me is because I'm going to just take you through what I class as the 3 stages of Age of Sigmar. So people who like and dislike the game will be very familiar with this sheet right now. This is the Age of Sigmar rulebook, and it's 4 pages long. Okay, now when this first came out, on the very first day, or the leak, or the online, wherever you want to say it, however you first saw it, I know that a lot of people would have been confused, because it's not something we're used to seeing from Games Workshop in the slightest. A 4-page rulebook, really? I have to say that it really excited me when I first saw it, but it's not something I wanted to dive straight into. Obviously here we are now, and Harry and I are well into it, but this is step 1. This is the first step that Games Workshop took with Age of Sigmar, and it was a significant simplification of the rule set. Now, to be brutally honest, those aren't rules. That's just setup. This is the beginning of like the pre-game stuff. So this is before the game even starts. This is where the game rules actually take off. So really it's just 2 sides. Some composition ideas and a couple of extra rules there. But a 4-page free PDF was the first step, in my eyes, the first step of Age of Sigmar, and for me, it was a brilliant, brilliant step. It's what got me excited by this game. So I'm just going to pop this down by my side, and we're going to take a lunge into something a little bit bigger. This is the Age of Sigmar book that comes with the Age of Sigmar starter set, and in this we started to get an idea of where Games Workshop were going. So you can see the miniatures, the Stormcast there. Ooh. This is significantly more difficult than I had previously anticipated. And we've got obviously a bit of fluff here, talking about the Mortal Realms, some really nice artwork. Starting to go into a bit of the story behind some of the main characters. And of course, the introduction of battle plans. So obviously it started with some very simple stuff here, like No Quarter, which is just basically, it can be done 1 player, but it can be 2 player. It's just using a handful of models. Same for the first few plans. They're all very simple, and they're all very low model count, just to get you started. This was the next big step for me, the introduction of the battle plan. I know that was something heavily relied on previously, but when they started introducing a little bit more of the fluff, a bit more of the structure in which the game could be played, that was step 2 for me. And finally, we come on to the latest step in all of this, and it is in fact, of course, the General's Handbook. I picked this up a little while ago. I've had a little flick through it. There'll be more to come on the content of this book later on. I just wanted to kind of go over it roughly today and just talk about the introduction of this, not final step, but 3rd step. I fully believe this is not the end of the development of Age of Sigmar. I think we'll see an awful lot, but what we get from this book, endless ways to play the game, 101 different battle plans, like every page turn is a new battle plan. It's ridiculous. And of course, the points. So what they did was they brought this game, which had previously been, I won't say ridiculed, but maybe understated, because it had a lack of points, and they took it and they said, okay, here's 1 book, and in this 1 book we will give you all the points for every army. Now, yeah, there are some problems in here with some points costs. I'm aware that some units don't actually have point values, which is a bit wrong, but there'll be an FAQ out on that, I'm sure. But really, this is the latest step forward for Age of Sigmar, and I've got to say it's pretty exciting. With the introduction of points, you've got 3 defined ways to play this game. And if you just take, this is a year on, roughly, maybe a little bit more than a year from this. What we've seen happen to this game has been huge. It has been a massive development project from a 4-page rulebook and nothing more to this in the space of just over a year. And well, I was really excited by the principle of Age of Sigmar before. The General's Handbook release has got me super excited to play some games, not just for the points, but also the open play, Triumph and Treachery. I'll do a whole video on that, I imagine, because I like the way they've done their open play in this, and also the narrative play. I'll probably talk about that in another video. So there'll be a full General's Handbook review coming out at some point, where I'll sit down and take you through it. Not quite page by page, and I'll do it in a few different videos so you don't get too bored. But we'll go over maybe section by section or a few different subsections. Maybe some of the stuff in particular that's been overlooked by a lot of the big reviews. So that's it really. I just wanted to take you through this process so we can look together at how much this game has changed in the course of a year and a bit, and how people complained there were no points, so they brought out points. People complained there weren't enough ways to play the game, there was no structure, so they brought out structure. They've revamped models. The direction the Games Workshop have taken with this game is the best direction they've taken since I've been in the hobby. And I know a lot of people who've been in the hobby a lot longer than I have who have said even longer than since I've been. So if you see what I'm saying, this is big for Games Workshop and Age of Sigmar in particular. And I'm very, very excited to really get stuck into this book and do battle reports going over some of the battle plans and stuff. And yeah, so lots to come on that front. But don't worry, obviously my other game systems will still be played. And probably in the same amount. This handbook has excited me, but it's not detracted from my excitement in terms of other games. So anyway, for fear of rambling, thank you ever so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section below. What do you think of this progression? That's my main question, I suppose. I know that it's not going to hit it's not going to scratch the gaming itch for some people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Age of Sigmar is the be-all and end-all of wargaming, but I'm saying, what do you think of the progression from a 4-page rulebook to now this? I mean, had this been released on the first day, I think people would look at it in a different light. That being said, of course, I'm glad they didn't, because I don't think I would have gotten into this game if this was the first thing that dropped, which is unusual to say, and I'll go into more detail on that probably in another video, I'm sure. But yeah, let me know what you think, and if you've read the General's Handbook, what do you think of that as well? Of course, like I said, thank you ever so much for watching. Thanks all, of course, for the support as well recently. It's been fantastic to see some of the views. We had our first ever video hit 1,000 views, which was really encouraging, and we're getting there with the subscription rate as well, which is fantastic. So it's been me, Callum from TableTopBanter. Don't forget, have fun.